Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today is going to be more of a discussion-based video. I will be giving my thoughts on battle ranking. The subject of the day is battle ranking. I'm going to be showing you guys some community posts I did, so it's not just my thoughts, but also across a smaller part of the community, which I think is going to represent a larger part of the community as well, since it is a small statistic of a bigger number. But that being said, recently, I think with this last battle ranking, this one kind of left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, and that's because I really love to play this game. I love, despite its many flaws, right? Because the game does have many flaws. We could for sure use a true manual in the combat system. A lot of times in a lot of these fights, we end up fighting the actual combat system itself instead of the actual boss. With a true manual, we wouldn't have to do that. However, that being said, for the most part, I greatly enjoy playing this game. However, in the last battle ranking, I found myself being more and more displeased based on the fact that the game had, or the battle ranking had, pretty bad lag. Now, this is something that is not just with battle ranking. Honestly, the game has always been laggier when it comes to any type of co-op event. So whether that's battle ranking, even dungeon rankings have their own little gimmicks and flaws, or crash battles, or even co-op battles. I just think that Applebot needs to spend the extra money and give us better servers, because ultimately we shouldn't be having to fight the game itself in order to rise and go through these rankings, right? Especially for players that are more on the line for getting it done. Now, this wasn't as bad with the Airbuster, but with the Reno fight, there were certain points in times where, there are a lot of different instances in which the lag was really terrible, getting a limit break to jump up and then clicking it over and over. Like, I would click my first limit break and then try to connect it into my second one just to sit there clicking the summon or the limit break over and over while the bar depleted and then not have it go off, right? There have been times where, the AI, even on manual, is inconsistent to the point where, in one instance, a character will do an ability at a certain ATB. You give them the exact same scenario a different time and it does something different, right? There were just so many instances in which it was so difficult to play that it zapped a lot of the fun out of it. Now, I'm going to jump over to this community post here, guys. Now, I want to show you guys something first. I did this post a while back, back when my channel was still growing a lot. So this one only got 380 votes right here, but still, as you can see, this is the percent of people roughly on my channel based on free-to-play minnows, dolphins, and whales. So this isn't just from one group of players. So roughly this said 32% of the people who watch my channel are free-to-play, 40% are minnows, 22% are dolphins, and 6% are whales. Now, recently I did another community post. What do you guys think of battle ranking, right? Now, this was the response. So for any of you guys out there at Applebot, I think that it's important to take note of this. Of the 4 options, right, only 7% of people said that they love it, right? Now, I'm not hating on battle ranking, okay? I think that battle ranking is a fun little mechanic in the game. However, if you look at some of the other options, 18% of people said that it seems lazy on Applebot, and I can't help but agree. Dungeon ranking has more of a sense of strategy going into it. I feel like there's multiple boss fights to take in at hand. You're running around a dungeon. It's more fun. In battle ranking, you're just changing the effects and fighting the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Now, that can be fun, but I honestly think that Ever Crisis's biggest crux, the biggest hurdle that this game has to overcome, is the fact that it lacks fun things to do, right? There's not that many fun things to do in EverCrisis. There's a lot of grinding. When a new battle comes out, it's awesome. When the banners comes out, it's a huge, what's it called? Endorphin pumper for when you get that new thing. But with other things to really just play the new equipment on, there's not that much. You get these events, but they all, they turn into grinding fests sooner or later. And oftentimes late at night, I spend a lot of time making Evercrisis videos, guys. I've made probably more Evercrisis videos than any other content creator for this game in the world, right? I've done a video I make a video basically almost every day for Final Fantasy VII Evercrisis. This is a huge part of my life at this point. But at the end of the day, so there's a lot of times where I play this game because I need to in order to keep putting out content for you guys. But at the end of the day, when I don't have anything to do, recently I've found myself logging into War of the Visions, which is another Final Fantasy game, over Final Fantasy VII Evercrisis, just because there's fun things to do in War of the Visions, whereas in Evercrisis, once you finish everything, there's just not much to do. So that being said, I do think that Evercrisis needs to come up with something, and hopefully Guild solves this problem, that gives us something fun to do that isn't correlated into grinding, So like, I know that a ton of Final Fantasy players don't mind grinding, and I'm sure there's even players out there that do enjoy it, but I wouldn't say that it's my favorite thing to do, running the exact same quest over and over. Oftentimes you can do it on auto, right? It's a little bit different for certain summon quests, but I do think that battle ranking as opposed to dungeon ranking does go in a direction that is less fun, right? It is easier, don't get me wrong. Now, for all of you guys that really love battle ranking, I'm not trying to say that they should take it away. I'm not trying to say that, I'm not trying to take away from your own fun of the game, all right? I'm just saying, look at this poll, okay? 45% of people said that lag kills it, and that was my experience in the last battle ranking. It was not fun for me. It was really brutal, and they did make a change. But this lag that has to do with any type of co-op atmosphere has been around since the beginning of the game. Dungeon rankings have this too. Crash battles have this, right? Crash battles, which are supposed to be like, the super hard sweet spot of Evercrisis. We should not be battling the lag. I do think that they need to come out and, put in better servers. Now, I know there's going to be people saying, this isn't necessary. You don't have to do this. Just like when I said that, there's no wallpapers for the Final Fantasy or Monster Hunter crossover, right? It's like, this is how I see it. They've been giving us wallpapers since essentially the beginning of the game. They might have missed one here or there, right? But essentially they've been giving us wallpapers per weapon since the beginning of the game. It'd be kind of like going into a coffee shop every day, right? And when you buy a coffee, you get that coffee and it's full, right? And then one day you go in and you get that coffee and it's only 60% full, right? Essentially, when people say that, oh, there's no reason to say anything, there's no reason to complain, blah, 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 it's essentially being like, if you got your coffee and it's 60% full, walking away and being like, that's all right. I didn't really like that extra coffee anyway. That's not the point. The point is that when there has been a trade-off, an unspoken agreement within the players of the game and the devs of the game, that when a weapon comes out, it essentially gets a wallpaper, right? And so for them to not put it in is in my opinion not okay, because it's the same thing as dripping someone out of that extra 40% of coffee, right? So that's essentially how I'm going about this, guys. In my opinion, content creators are the bridge between players and the developers, right? We are a voice to the many people out there. And whether I'm saying something that you agree with or not, my job is to make these things clear, because at the end of the day, this is a company and companies have a very bad track record. And one of the things they have a bad track record with is the fact that when they take something away and no one voices a problem with it, they think that it's okay. And then do you know what will happen next? They'll take something else away, right? Until people voice their problem. So I will always be that voice for you guys. I promise you that. I don't care if Applebot sends me something nice or does anything for me. I don't care. I love it to play this game as a simple hobby. I'm a professional and career novelist. My passion, my true passion, lies in writing books, right? So, you know, if I feel like they're doing something unfair, I will be that voice and speak out against for you guys. But at the end of the day, just keep in mind that I do love Ever Crisis. I am on the side of Ever Crisis. I just don't think it's in the best. I don't think it's the best thing for Ever Crisis for them to be taking certain things away, right? Now, to go back to battle ranking here, if we look at all of the different posts, lag kills it 45%. I miss dungeon rankings 29%. Seems lazy on Applebot 18%, and I love it 7%. So 7% of people out of this entire poll said that they love battle rankings. And, you know, I get it. There's always something for everybody. I think I would enjoy battle rankings a lot more if the lag issue was fixed, but that is the second battle ranking we had back to back without a dungeon ranking. We have been getting less crisis dungeons on a whole in the game, and it just seems to me like they're trying to go back to the least amount of effort possible, and I just don't want to see this game become another banner every week with basically a carbon copy of a past event where you just do the same grinding over and over. I want to see something fun in this game. I want to see something new, something that challenges us in different ways. I feel like the fans of Final Fantasy VII deserve something like that from this game, you know? And the story is great. Don't get me wrong, the story is great, but it's so few and far between that it's hard to say. So that being said, I just wanted to share this with you guys. Hopefully this gets shared with Applebot themselves. If you guys want this to have a higher chance of reaching the devs at Applebot and hopefully they hear our voice, please don't forget to drop a like, add a comment to this video telling us what you think or just giving it a thumbs up or whatever you guys think. So this was essentially my take on this, but I also wanted to share that this isn't just my take, but also a large part of the community's take. Now, I get it that 673 votes is not representative of 7 million downloads, but essentially it is a small group of players that is equally balanced between free-to-play, minnows, dolphins, and whales. So I wanted to share that with you guys today. I think that there could be a lot of awesome things or ways in which Ever Crisis is taken in an awesome direction in the future. I just want to emphasize that it does not feel to me like their priority, or even in the top 1, 2, or 3 of their priorities, is fun for the player. And I think that in a game, the most important thing out of everything is fun. I love collecting stuff, don't get me wrong. I don't mind grinding to level stuff up. I like that stuff too. But fun is the most important aspect of a game. And in the last battle ranking, I did not have fun. And I know that a lot of people did not have fun either. So I wanted to make this video, even though the battle ranking is done. Hopefully they see it. Hopefully we get a dungeon ranking soon. Now, I'm not saying that they should only have dungeon rankings and get rid of battle rankings. I like both. I'm telling you guys, I like both. However, I do think that they need to be equally balanced, and I do think that something else that is, you know, more for the fun of playing is added to the game. That being said, hope this video isn't too controversial for you guys. I hope you guys don't mind me being a voice to Applebot. I just feel like someone has to say it, and a lot of times I look around and no one else will, so I don't mind taking the mantle on my shoulders. All right, guys, that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Ever Crisis content. Hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care, and peace.